been shown many times throughout literature and films that sometimes writers drive themselves insane. But on this episode of Drip Fed Dread Index, I'm going to talk about 3 particular stories where authors became murderers.
In the heart of mystery holds the darkness of truth, true horror, real madness, drip, fed, dread.
William S. Burroughs, who was famous for Beat Generation writing styles of that whole weirdo, bizarro subgenre, accidentally shot and killed his wife Joan Vollmer during a drug and booze-fueled game of William Tell, which if you don't know, it's a game where someone puts an object on their head and someone tries to shoot it off with a handgun. They ruled the death an accident, and Burroughs only served time for minor drug charges. Dutch crime novelist Richard Kleinkammer had a career that took off with his novel Obedient as a Dog, which drew extensive inspiration from his long career as a French legionnaire, which he went on to say before that the first thing they would teach you to do is how to kill someone, and the second thing was to dispose of a body. Creepily enough, the author took that advice and put it to work in 1991 when he murdered his wife with a blunt object, and he buried her beneath a shed, putting cement over it so hopefully no one would ever find the body. The couple had troubles with their relationships, mostly due to Kleinkammer because he was abusive, toxic, just a piece of shit all around. And he really played the victim and sympathizer. When he was first questioned by cops, he said his wife left and she couldn't deal with his bullshit anymore, and the cops believed it. But the creepy thing is, a year later, Richard had a manuscript called Wednesday Mince Day that pretty much was a grisly, detailed exploration of murder, of 7 ways that a man could kill his wife. In one of the scenarios in the book, the man disposes of his wife's body, pushing her through a mincer and feeding it to pigeons. This novel was rejected by many because it was too gruesome and sick, but the manuscript benefited from one thing, and that was causing suspicion by the police. However, without a body, they couldn't make an arrest. By then, he had moved out of the house and new tenants had took over and decided to uproot the shed, revealing his wife's skeleton in the year 2000, 9 years after the murder. Kleinkammer was arrested and then finally admitted to these crimes. Children's author Harry Horse and his wife Mandy took sleeping pills together, which was claimed to be in the style of a Romeo-Juliet murder-suicide type vibe. But the truth is, it was far more gruesome, disturbing, and macabre than anyone ever imagined. It was true that the police discovered the bodies embracing one another in bed, dead. But it turns out, Horse stabbed his wheelchair-bound wife 30 times before slashing himself to death. The assault was so violent and sickening that the first knife broke and he used a second one. Those closest to Horse pretty much said he's always been depressed and always suffered from anger issues, and his wife had multiple sclerosis. And apparently, I guess that fucking drove him over the edge, right? Like, poor him. I can't stand shit like that. Like, oh, I'm depressed. Don't even let me get into it. Police believe that he tried to use the sleeping pills so she would go to sleep and hopefully wouldn't feel any of the attack. But the plan didn't work, sending him into a frenzy. So yeah, those are some crazy accounts of authors killing, and it's just an interesting concept to think about, a writer. Because oftentimes in novels, writers are very reserved and stuck in themselves and somewhat crazy. So to see that side come out truly reflects the despair and tortured soul that writers really do have. I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe, hit that little ding-a-ling button harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here. And yeah, give me a hell yeah for horror. This is Drip Fed Dread.
I'm sure that in time, every bit of her will be gone, and her death will be a mystery, even to me.